Hey everybody, Renegade 67 and or 68 here with some more Let's Play Stream Fate Stay Night of the Blindish variety. So last time, a couple last times. So the first thing that happened was that cannot load was that we were talking to Saber. You can press start, I think, if you want to start for the start screen. Well, I didn't already, so too bad. We were on Saber, and then we were talking to Saber, and she's like, do you want to team up with Rin? And I said, what happens if we say no? Is this a bad ending? But then I ended up getting all the other bad endings before that. I got all the Taiga dojos, and yet I still was like, I didn't get this. So I followed it, and then it led me into the other pathway, and I'm like, wait, what? And then I went back, and then I went to the thing where Rin and Shiro meet up, and then there's the thing, and then they did the thing, and then that became different, and then there was an intro cutscene, not after the prologue like in the Fate route, but instead the intro cutscene was after the thingamadoodle. The fight with Berserker, because there was a crazy thingamajigger where Archer was like, haha, I see you, Shiro, I'm going to try to kill both at once. And that didn't happen in the other one. And it didn't happen in the other one because Archer was assumedly injured, whereas he is not in this one. And the reason he's not, because Shiro uses an extra command seal, because in the original Fate timeline that we were on, the Saber timeline, she was like stuffing things. She took out, she was like slashed Archer, but there was no command seal. Shiro just stopped it from happening. Shiro used his first command seal when fighting Shinji, and then he used his second command seal when fighting Berserker, and then I don't remember if he actually used his third command seal in the big final battle or not, but whatever. He had his third one at that point, and he was down to his third one. But in this one, he used one right out the gate, which let Archer not get hurt, which let him attack fucking Saber. Or, no, yes, in the Berserker fight, he attacked Saber, which is weird to me, because we were able to dovetail into that from here in the Fate.exe, even though the past should be altered, right? Because this should be before the Shinji fight. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe it's before the Shinji fight, and if that's the case, he should not have all three command seals if that dovetailed into Unlimited Blade Works, and yet it did, and I still don't understand how that works, but Shiro is supposedly slightly different. Because what? Oh, right. He's different because he reacts differently? I don't remember that. We're going to load up. We're not loading anything. Start. What if I click start? First day recollection of 10 years ago. More right. The skip scene question. Skip this scene. No. Right, they start with the fire. I am the bone of my sword, steel is my body, and fire is my blood. I have created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death, nor known to life. Have withstood pain to create many weapons, yet those hands will never hold anything. So as I pray, unlimited blade works. I hate text that goes by without you being able to take time to really take it in. I read it, but you know. Right, it starts with the fire flashback. I remember that. The Unlimited Blade Works, that's right. I remember that she said that, even in the first, that's right, she did say that. Even when you start up the game on the Saber route, she says the Unlimited Blade Works, but this is like supposed to be Unlimited Blade Works. So it's like, why did she say that originally anyways? It's like more important than you think. You remember your theories more than I do? Well, I mean, they're my theories. So the problem with my theories is it's hard to... it's harder for me, I think, to remember when they came about because there are so many ideas and thoughts swirling in my head that if I take a break away, I might be like, that's a theory, or no, I just know that for sure, or was it ever a theory? Did I ever guess that? But it's different for someone watching from an outside perspective, I would assume. Oh yeah, time travel. Oh, that's right. The idea that we didn't choose. That's right. The first choice for Shiro... No, the first choice was before that. It was like on the first day, I think. The first choice for Shiro is whether he wants to hang out with Sakura or not, right? Yeah, I think so. But anyways, we didn't choose, if memory serves, to do anything there, right? It wasn't based on a choice that Shiro used his command seal and stopped Saber. He just did it, which is weird to me, because I would think making those choices is what might go on different timelines. And we were on the Saber timeline. It was a choice that dovetailed us into the UBDW, whatever, Unlimited Top Blade. UBDW? No, there's no D. Unlimited Blade. It's just UBW. Anyways, it was a choice that dovetailed us onto the Unlimited Blade Works timeline. But not when we actually went back and saw it from the beginning. It was just changing already. And so that brings up a couple questions. Question the first is, is Shiro different? If Shiro is different, is he different because he somehow, I'm remembering now, like had some amount of subconscious time travel from the first timeline? Like maybe he didn't like how it worked out and he mentally went back, or maybe it's because there's some spirit within him, maybe? Because, we know the shield thing. He was, sort of regenerative, probably, possibly because of the shield to some extent. But the sword birth, is that because of the shield? That seems weird. Especially because it's, the wrong sword. He was making it first with the shield. It's, such a strong power that he awoke into after losing more of his magical energy. It seems weird to just think, oh, the shield did that for him. So if there's something weird and special and trippy going on with him, I think a logical conclusion is that maybe that weird and trippy thing sort of puts him in a loop where at the end of the war is maybe the Shiro is like, I don't like it, sends him back, or the Grail itself. Maybe the Grail wasn't fully destroyed or something. Shiro only did the same thing as Kiritsugu did last time. Did he? Oh, is that what happened? I don't fucking remember. He just had... Oh, okay. So he attacked the Grail with Saber with his final command seal. And the more or less the same. Yeah, I think, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like something I would have been like, that's weird. How is this going to be any different? And maybe the Grail sent him back in time, but Shiro remembers because he's got a super alter ego personality hiding inside him. Could be. Or it could just be maybe the other option. Oh, you're just saying the same stuff I said. Well, I will take your word that I said it. The other option that I think of sometimes with visual novels like this is, what if it's all of this? What if there's no knowing that the past is predetermined? Obviously the future stuff that we come into and run into over the course of the thing is going to change versus what we saw, in our original Saber waifu route. But is it possible that some stuff from before the war even started changed and we just don't know it yet? That's a possibility. Maybe that's leads into Shiro's temperament. Maybe there's a mixture. For example, just because Shinji's a servant or a master in the other war, does that mean he has to be a master in the UBW war? I assume so, because his whole thing with Makiri and stuff wasn't fully explored. Granted, they could still fully explore Makiri without Shinji being a master, but anyways. The thing is, it's kind of weird because the Fate route was a pretty good end, and Shiro got character dev and he learned to move from the past. And when you go to the past, it's kind of iffy. You're right, but maybe there's an evil demon spirit inside of him. Or yeah, the Grail forced it on him. That's true. Shiro was all about don't rewrite the past. Which is maybe why he's so conflicted throughout the game, because he's fighting with the inner super evil demon inside of him that does want to go to the past. Maybe that's why he was so ignorant, because there's a part of him that's yes, I do, and then the regular him is no, I don't. The inner conflict. The red text. Yeah. But yeah, so the fact that Shiro's different, there is a possibility, and this is the lame possibility in my opinion, is that, Shiro just made a different choice that you were never in control of, and it altered the course of the timeline. They could just do that, but that's boring, right? Isn't it more fun if it's time travel? And it's the Grail forcing him to do it again, or some interesting thing like that. I like it when the differences in the thing have a through line. And you're this is where it started, and this is why it started. Because Shiro using that command spell there so preemptively, versus the other one where he didn't, feels different. Anyways. When I came to, I was in a burning field. Even if they did the lame choice, we can't just invoke death of the author. Um, I mean, what? Oh, yeah, why can't... Oh, we can just. You said can, there was no T. We could, you're right, we could. But the thing is, okay, that's true. However, if they did the lame choice, and it never follows up, and it's just clear that it was the lame choice, then, it's lame. I mean, I can headcanon it, but, like, it's funner when the canon canons it. There was a big fire, the familiar town burned. Okay, this I do remember because Shiro flashed back to this towards the end of the pathway. Remains of a battlefield from a movie. That didn't last long either. The fires died down by the time the sun rose. The tall wall of flames had shortened and most of the buildings had fallen. It felt strange being the only thing in that place that still had its original form. Only one still alive. Must have been really lucky. Were you really lucky? Or was it magic? Or your house was built in magical spot. You are the Lucky Charms magical spirit. You're also possibly evil. I don't know which it was, but the point is I was the only one left alive. Thought since I survived, I should live on. Right. And now remembering the whole thing about the parents, and about how he never talks about them until the end of the pathway because he thinks it's hard, but it's like... Which one's the biggest mystery of all? There's so many. Who built that magic circle? Oh, that's right, yeah. The magic circle, yes. Because I thought it was Ilya for the longest time, but then as she grew close to him, she never, brought it up. She didn't even seem to necessarily know beforehand Shiro would be in the war. Like, she was just gonna kill him because, maybe? Yeah. Thought it'd be dangerous to stay there. Wasn't really concerned about getting burned up, like the people lying around me. Probably because over and over, I struggled. Okay. Cool. Still, I had no hope. I was already whoop-a-doop-a-boo. Yeah. I collapsed. Was it because there was no air? Was it because no function was left in my body? Collapsed and stared up at the clouded sky. Just checking some OBS stuff. Anyways, everything around me was burned up, and I could see many blackened, unmoving people. They think if they stand still enough, you won't realize that they're the murderer. The dark clouds loomed overhead, telling me it would rain soon. That's good. The fire will be out once it rains. Ooh, is this symbolic? The fire will be put out once it rains. Does the rain symbolize your tears? Because you're the god of... I sighed deeply and looked up at the sky. I say to myself that it hurts. I say so on behalf of all the people who couldn't even say so. Was the rain magical? The ultimate survivor. Could just be a normal lucky student. Surviving the fire in itself is fairly lucky. 10 years ago. Scene foreshadows survivor's guilt. After that, I was miraculously saved. My body survived. All the other things about me burned up and were reduced to ash. If you take away a child's parents, home, and all such things, there's nothing left for him. That's why there was only my body. I think it's a simple story. In other words, in order to let my body live, my heart died. I am dreaming. Right, little baby Shira. I squint my eyes at the white light. So bright, I think. In quotes, but he doesn't be voiced. Just entering my eyes when I woke up. I'm not used to it. Probably didn't even understand what the bright light meant. My eyes focused and surprised. I'm lying on an unfamiliar bed in an unfamiliar room. This is not my lovely home. This is not my lovely wife. I am quoting something that I don't believe I've ever seen. That's how crazy memes can get sometimes, where you quote things that you've not seen. Like, I know that's from like an old movie or something. I've not seen it. I'm surprised, but the room is so white and clean that I feel safe. Where am I? I look around. Doko Daro? On this episode of Renegade tries to multitask and learn Japanese while he plays video games. Doko Daro? Doko Daro. Because like Doko, I know Doko Da. Like Doko Daro. Doko Daro? Doko Daro? Doko, I know is where, but Daro. Okay. I think. Daro? Okay, I think I've heard this before. I've never actually had it translated before. But I know, like, you might say, like, kokodoko, for example. Here, where, is a normal expression. Kokodoko. So hearing Doko Daro Koko is just a little backwards for me. I think the relation you could make to English speaking is that where you might say, where am I? In Japanese they would go kokodoko, like where am I or where are we? So the fact that he reversed it and went doko koko just makes me think that he's, coming to, not thinking too much about it, and so he goes doko first. It's kind of like in English saying like, I don't know. It's more, he says things out of order. I don't know. Or maybe I'm crazy and this order is normal, but I'm used to the other order. Ah, yes, my favorite show, Learning Japanese with Rennie. Getting Avo eyes from that line. I look around. The room is big and there are many beds. A person in each bed and everybody seems to be hurt. Nothing feels ill in this room. Everyone who's hurt is someone who is saved. Relax, let my eyes wander. Does that make you feel better about yourself? Is that how you try to lie to yourself? Nothing is bad in this room. Because they were all saved. That means they're good. You don't have to overthink it. Outside the window, the bright blue sky was unbelievably beautiful. A few days, finally understood. I could clearly remember what had happened the past few days, even so I was no different anymore, baby. Not just a metaphor, it was close to the truth. It was a terrible fire. I had been saved from it. I was in the hospital with my body wrapped in bandages. My parents were gone. In the situation vaguely sure I was alone. I think I understood quickly. Well, there was nothing but childhood. Children in similar situations around me could do was absorb the fact. After that, the man came right when I was beginning to worry. He came on the day my bandages were taken off and I was able to eat without help. Wrinkled coat and uncombed hair. The man, a bit younger than the doctor, felt more like a big brother than a father.
Konnichiwa. Kimi ga Shiro-kun da ne.
Kimi ga Shiro-ga. Da ne. Because he said ne, it should be hello, you must be Shiro-kun, right? Because he said ne. A smile that seems to melt into the white sunlight. Surprised you didn't pick up the Kimi from him, and you're always going like, oh my, Shiro. Shiro's such an oh my. What a jerk. You didn't pick that up from Kiritsugu because he was like, Kimi, like a nice person. A smile seems to melt into, I think it's a suspicious voice, but a very kind voice.
率直に聞くけど、孤児院に預けられるのと、初めて会ったおじさんに引き取られるの、君はどっちがいいかな
It, it's so weird when I'm stop being mean to those free fan translators. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to learn Japanese, so when I hear something that conflicts with my understanding, I try to rationalize it to myself. But it's weird when I'm listening to the Japanese and I'm like, okay, where does the statement end? And then it ends and I'm like, okay, that's a pause. What about the next statement? And then there's no next statement. I'm like, oh, it just ended. And then I just feel like I'm caught, with my pants down. He could adopt me. I asked him if he was a relative of mine, so he was just a stranger. He looked like an unreliable guy with no future. Made no difference as I knew nothing about either one, him or the orphanage.
そうか、よかった。なら早く身支度を済ませよう。新しい家に一日でも早く慣れなくっちゃいけないからね。
New place as fast as you can. She was pretty spot on with that prediction. What? Kiritsugu had no... Oh, wait. What? He looked like an unreliable guy with no future. Yeah, I guess you can get that looking at Kiritsugu. I mean, I think that was the ultimate revelation we came to at the end, is that Shiro actually is pretty sharp. He just avoids hard truths on purpose, which can make him seem kind of dumb. And so that's the thing, is that going back to the beginning, are we going to get the same dumb Shiro? Or is he going to have some more character development? Because he can't just go through the same arc again. So my assumption is, that's why time travel would be more interesting, almost. Because if he has a new arc. Because the thing is, if he goes through... He can't go through the same arc again because it's fucking boring. Unless they expedite it, and then even then they have to be careful. Because it could still be boring. You were pretty positive about Shiro the last time. Yeah, I think that's... Maybe that's part of where my time travel theory came from, is that Shiro seemed more smartical about things. And so, yeah, the idea is, if he's going to have, like, a new arc, let's say, he picked up on Ren's tics and habits a bit more, yeah. If he's going to have, like, a new arc in each pathway, then it makes sense for there to be some amount of time travel shenanigans going on. Because it'd be weird how if there was like no chronology to it. If it's like, I develop one arc in this route, I develop one arc in this route, and then like they're all disconnected, and he doesn't fully grow as a person because he never gets all the arcs at once. But he can't like redo arcs necessarily because that would be retreading, kind of boring. So the time travel is one way of doing it, and I guess has some backing. But I quickly started packing my stuff. His packing wasn't very good, even in the eyes of a child. After making a big mess...
Otto, 大切なことを言い忘れた。うちに来る前に。
Is that okay? He turns to me lightheartedly and says... Oh yeah, the is that okay? Even though they have the young Shiro voice, they'll have some of these quote lines and just not voice them. It does feel a little weird, but...
はじめに言っておくとね、僕は 魔法使いなんだ。
He says it in a serious, exaggerated tone. Happened in an instant. Come to think of it, now I really was a child back then. I automatically believed those words. I guess I said was so with bright eyes. Wanting to latch on anything? Maybe that's part of why he believed so easily. Is that he wanted to ignore the past as much as possible. That, oh, sorcerer, that's something to latch onto that isn't my grody past. And having something important in your new life as he moves forward and tries to ignore the past. Since that time I became his child. Actually, I don't remember what I said back then. But my father would always talk about that day. He would remember and retell the story again and again. So, for my father, Emiya Kiritsugu, that might have been the happiest day of his life. Still possible for character to go down different arcs and come to different conclusions without having all the character development from the whole to the end. You're not wrong. UBW Shiro could come to a different conclusion than Fate Shiro. Okay, let me put it another way. I think Shiro's really dumb before he gets to his character development, so I like seeing him character development to become, like, to accept that truth and become smarter. So if, like, If we go down another one and he's like contains the fucking stupidness that it took forever for him to get rid of, then I was glad when he finally got rid of it, and then keep setting other pathways, that would bug me more, I guess. Like, it's one thing for a character to go through different arcs and, end up in different places, as long as the place they start, is more, something you can get behind anyways, and that the direction they go is whatever. But, when you're starting kind of a blah place, and part of the enjoyment is seeing him go from blah to yeah, then for it to just, even if he goes in some other thing, it's gonna still start from the blah every time, and it's like, oh. Keiichiro worked because he was, and he grew. We already saw that, yeah. It would be, that's, I guess, the crux of it, is that, I like Fate Shiro in retrospect. I just don't want to have to go through Fate Shiro again. I already did that once. I did my time. I got the rewarding ending. Let's just, new Shiro now, please. Oh. That might have been the happiest day of his life. So, I guess it was strange for my father at the time that he was a sorcerer, became an adopted son. I mean, Shiro, when I said my name, I was really proud of having the same last name. Or were you just happy that you could connect your name to anything that wasn't your previous life, as we know now? We still don't, I think, necessarily know what his real last name is, as it were. Imagine we did the opposite. W starts smart and grows dumb. No, anything but that. I'm dreaming. Story from my childhood. It was when I finally convinced my father to make me a student, so it must have been about 8 years ago. When I was old enough to stay at home by myself, Kiritsugu started to leave the house on a regular basis. He would say his normal tone that he would travel the world, actually act on those words. That's how it was after that. It was normal for him to leave them empty for a month. He sometimes wouldn't come for half a year. The Emiya house is a big Japanese-style house. Kiritsugu and I were the only ones living there. I was perplexed in this house at times, as it was too big for a child. What were you doing, Kiritsugu? Still, I liked my life here. Oh, I mean, he was just traveling the world trying to save the universe, right? There was that whole thing about how Kirei poisoned Kiritsugu and he was secretly being tormented all that time, and so his death was not as happy. But I choose to believe that Kirei is just wrong. He's like a stupid face, and he only thinks that Kiritsugu is infected, and he got fine. Kirei's just a dumb, but maybe Kirei was just trying to torture Shiro and was lying, or didn't know the truth. I choose to believe that, because I don't want to think Kiritsugu suffered all that time. I like my life here. Liked? You liked? You don't like it now? I mean, Kiritsugu would come home from his journeys and tell me lots of stories like a child. And the child who shared his last name would be at home waiting for those stories. I was always alone in the house, but that loneliness would all fade with the stories he brought back. The father who was always chasing his dreams like a kid. His attitude was astounding, but he always seemed dazzling to me. That might be why I wanted to be like him someday. On top of that, it gives you some aspiration. It doesn't get you. Looking at my ever-dreaming father, I felt I should become reliable myself. Right. One day. Good idea, Kiritsugu. Leave the traumatized child alone for months. Maybe he was looking for a cure to the disease that Kirei never gave him, because that would make me sad. Maybe he was trying to follow up on the thing with Ilya. Bad job if that's the case, because he clearly never did, but, oh. Maybe it's just, I don't know, the thing with Kirei, maybe he was poisoned, and so maybe he was trying to do all the things, he was trying to check off his checklist. What are all the things that I want to do before this causes me to die and stuff? In which case, I can't fault him for it, and if that's not the case, maybe he got a fucking cancer and was gonna die anyway. I don't know, some other condition. Because if that's not the case, he's just an adventurous type. I don't think it's that bad if there's the idea that he was leaving, at least the Tigers were looking after him. It's not the greatest parenting thing, but it's more I wouldn't mind Kiritsugu even if there was no illness or anything, I wouldn't mind Kiritsugu doing that from his character art perspective, because so much of his life he was just chasing this one thing, only for it to be like, oh fuck, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. And I understand the idea, despite, helping out Shiro and maybe maybe he should look after him, he still has this impulse to, I have to make up for lost time and help as much as possible, or see or do as much of the things that I would have done had I known that this was fruitless, so I can see it. And I wouldn't blame him for it. But anyways, I hear a sound. I hear a heavy, old, rusty sound as the door opens. Yeah, this was when Sakura, right, first wakes us up. Okay, light enters the dark shed. My mind waking up.
Senpai, 起きてますか?
Right. Senpai, are you awake? Yes. Feels the cold air in the approaching footsteps.
Ohio, Sakura.
Morning, Sakura.
はい。おはようございます、先輩。
Sakura is such a common Japanese name. So many Sakuras out there. It's named after what, the Sakura blossom tree or whatever, or something. I don't know. Good morning, Senpai.
先輩、朝ですよ。まだ時間はありますけど、ここで眠っていたら藤村先生に怒られます。
Senpai, it's morning already. You have some time, but Fujimura Sensei will get mad if you stay asleep here. You're right. Thanks for
そん
coming.
なことありません。こんな風に起こしに来れるなんて、たまにしかありません。
Well, thank you anyway. I will say the thing is, normally in these pick your waifu games, which I guess this necessarily isn't a pick your waifu because it seems like they're forcing me in a specific waifu order, but normally in these, waifu novel visuals, and just in general, I tend to prefer the, bad girl characters, as it were. I'm just usually inclined that way. I am impressed by Sakura's character writing. I actually find her very endearing. And I'd probably say that I prefer her to Rin at the moment. I guess if anyone's the bad girl, it'll be Rin. I mean, Ilya's the real bad girl, but like if we're to compare the Betty and Veronica, I don't know, the Sakura to Rin, normally in such a dynamic, I would probably prefer Rin. But in this one, I actually do prefer Sakura from what I've seen so far. So, just thought I'd throw that out there, because normally I would prefer the Rin type, I feel. Ilya's still the best, of course, but, let's talk about who's second place for a second. I can always come and wake you up like this occasionally. Question mark? Sakura seems more upbeat than usual today, as if she's happy about something.
そうかな。結構さくらには起こされてるぞ、俺。
You wake me up quite often.
けど、藤姉には叩き起こされるから、さくらの方が助かる。これに懲りずに次は頑張る。
Fuji's the real worst guardian. I'll try harder next time. I answer with a sleepy head. I don't know what I'm saying. My mind's supposed to be waking.
わかりました。でも、頑張ってもらわない方が嬉しいです。私。
Happier when you don't try. Yeah, she likes taking care of me. Sakura's giggling. Guess my head was still dozing and I said something weird.
ちょっと待ってくれ。すぐ起きるから。
Second, I'll wake up. Cold outdoor air helps in situations like this. Chill works well to beat the sleepiness out of my head. In front of me is Mato Sakura, my junior at school. This place is a shed behind my house, and the time is 6 o'clock. AM or BM?
先輩。
メガさん、朝の支度手伝。
そんなのいいです。
Breakfast.
先輩、夕べも遅かったんでしょ。なら、朝はゆっくりしてください。朝食の支度は私がしておきますから。
Up late being traumatized as usual, huh, Shiro? Sakura says so in a happy tone. What's Sakura's food specialty again? Because I know, what? It was that Rin is more Western, where Shiro is more Japanese? And then what's Sakura? She's some other third thing? I mean, I know Shiro is probably arguably the best of all of them. I think that was the thing, but there's still, specialties. The options that I think your theories for her are normal girl in a crazy world, some crazy shit. Well, yeah, because I don't think she's normal. No, I think I'd be surprised if she's completely normal, because they freaking leave her out of the narrative for so long. that, like, when all this important stuff is happening, her brother's important and dies, and we never see her reaction to it. I would be very surprised if she's just a normal girl at this point. I mean, it's possible, I guess. But, like, the fact that we never figure out her reactions to Shinji's death or anything like that, she never even finds out necessarily. Like, she gets lied to in the epilogue there or something, right? Like, she doesn't know for sure. It just feels like they're hiding that on purpose to reveal it in some other timeline, which tells me that there's some crazy shit going on. I'm pretty sure there's some crazy shit. I feel like normal girl in a crazy world is, I think, more and more unlikely. It's unusual. Sakura really seems to be in a good mood this morning.
バカ、そういうわけにいくか。今起きるから一緒にキッチンに行こう。
Can't you do that? I'll get up right now, so let's go to the kitchen together. The way Sakura acts, I think what it comes down to is I'm thinking less and less that she is. Like, because for a while I'm like, okay, she's crazy in some way, but how is she crazy? She gets lied to, and funnily enough, she became best friends with Ilya. Yeah. Like, the thing about, because for a while I'm like, is she secretly plotting things and she's actually evil all along? And I'm thinking less and less that that's true based on the way like, it's not impossible, I guess. You know, I don't want to rule anything out. But the way, you know, the fact that she never showed up after Shinji's death, the fact that she ended up being just fine in the epilogue, she feels a little too sincere. I don't know, the way certain other characters are portrayed. If she is an evil twist villain, I think they're doing a good job at setting that up. I think it's more likely that if there is an evil twist, it's more of... if there is an evil twist, it's either going to be a split personality evil twist, or it's going to be a tragic, I have to be evil but don't want to twist. I don't think it's going to be a, haha, I am evil and happy about it twist. Which there was a time where I thought maybe that was where they were going, but the way her sincerity is handled, it gets to a certain point where if they were to pull the rug up and be like, oh, she's evil and is all happy about it, I feel, based on the way certain things are, it's hard for me to remember the exact points that would make me lead that to that direction, but the way things have happened, I would be extremely surprised. It would feel like some odd writing choices. She feels sincere enough that I don't think that's where they're going. Oh. My feelings for Shiro are very real. Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. They seem very genuine, the way everything's written.
よし、準備完了。それじゃあ行こう、さくら。
I'm all set. Let's go, Sakura.
いえ、その先輩。
If anything could drive her to evil, it'd be because of any harm inflicted on Shiro. Possibly. If he died, I clearly see a very sharp decline. She does seem to put a lot of herself onto the whole, you know, Shiro train, because he helped her out at a younger point with Shinji, and that whole thing is interesting. The fact that Sakura, that's so weird. There's definitely something going on with her, because the fact that Sakura, like, she doesn't seem to have had much of any serious change, or if there is one, it's a positive one. That definitely suggests Shinji was being a fuckery fuck. But, like, to what extent was Shinji being a Sakura fuckery fuck? You know, how dark did they go? Is it, like, rape? Or is it just, like, no, he's just kind of a dick? Oh, and he maybe, yeah, anyways. Senpai.
いえ、そういうことではないんですけど。
Right. He's got to put a shirt on. Look down at myself. I fell asleep while I was working, so I'm still wearing my overalls. Overalls with no shirt? Giggity. Being my work clothes, they're pretty dirty. I can't imagine what Fujine would say to me.
まだ目が覚めてないみたいだ。なんか普段に増して抜けてるな。
In my opinion, Shiro, it's your house. You do what you want. She doesn't like it. She can GTFO. I'm not awake yet. I'm a bit out of it this morning.
そうかもしれませんね。ですから朝食の支度は私に任せて、先輩はもう少しゆっくりしていてください。それにほら、 ここを散らかしっぱなしにしていたら藤村先生に怒られるでしょ。
Sakura's happy about the overalls that need to be changed, that let Sakura work on the breakfast. Uh-huh. Take that, Shiro. Sakura's evil plan was that she would make breakfast and you wouldn't, so she's glad about the overalls.
そうだな。それじゃ。
Sakura leaves. I have to change into my school uniform and clean up this mess. The shed is built on the edge of our yard, just as seems warehouse. For me, it's a place of treasures. Father didn't allow me to go into the shed. Because there was magic stuff in there that he didn't want you seeing, like a magic circle that was set up from 10 years ago? No, the magic circle he used. I mean, Sakura by technicality is first girl here. Doesn't mean first girl wins, but she would be first girl in this case, right? Father didn't allow me to go to the shed, but I always sneaked in here. Because the thing is, even if there's a magic circle in the shed, that's not where it would have been 10 years ago when frickin' Kiritsugu summoned Saber. They were in like a church or something, right? I don't know. For me, I'm Yoshiro, I guess you could call this place my real room. The big Emi household doesn't suit me, and I can only relax.
そもそももったいないじゃないか。ガラクタって言ってもまだ使
Even
え
if
る
it's
し。
junk synchron, you can still synchro summon into junk warrior. Haha. It's generally not a very good idea. Junk warrior is like, I mean, he's fine, but he's not a great synchro monster. There are better options, to be honest. I mean, junk warrior is okay, but the fact that he's like a specific synchro when he's only as good as he is, it's like, I mean, he could be better, or he could be generic. Anyways. Yeah, I suck, so it's good that I'm in a place where things suck. Yeah. But the problem is you fix the sucky things, Shiro. You need to fix yourself. Most of the things in here are appliances that can't be used anymore. Did I bring all the junk in here because I like the place, or did I come to like it here because of all the junk? You came to like it because you think that yourself is junk. Since I was always sneaking in here, it became my hobby to fix the broken things. Not like I get attached to things. Are you sure? It just annoys me not to use things that can still be used. And just like that, I was fixing up this stove all last night.
完成は明日か。途中で寝るなんて集中力が足りない証拠だ。
Fixing up the stove. I'm still looking for hidden meaning in every line I read. No, I don't get attached to things. I only get attached enough to know their inner workings so that I can make the Caliburn sword. There is definitely a lot of subtext, for sure. It's well done. Seeing how I fell asleep halfway. I shake off the feeling of disappointment in myself. I gather up the parts of the stove and put them on the shelf full of things waiting to be fixed. There are no spaces on the shelf full of things awaiting... There are no spaces awaiting repair. An old VCR awaits after the stove. Oh, I see. There's no spaces, which means there's always something that needs to be fixed, so you'll never have time to get to yourself and fix yourself. That's why you always need new things to fix, because if you're not things to fix, then you'll have to realize that yourself needs fixing, and you can't do that. I guess I'll ignore the fact that Fujine broke both of them. Dang it, Fujine, you're getting in the way of Shiro's character development. If you started breaking less things, he could eventually fix himself. I change into my uniform. This place is like my room, and it holds changes of clothes along with other things I need. Also, there's a lot of blueprints and junk, results of failures from when I do my training. There's also some kind of old design script on the floor. The old describe it's a fucking magic circle! Like an altar or something.
さて、今日も一日頑張って精進しよう。
That's the magic circle that we didn't get the full thingy on. It's kind of future cheating, but in the Ayako talk we had in the Doveline timeline, brings a lot of the subtext to text with Ayako saying, "You don't even laugh." I mean, yeah, but that's fine because we do the Fate timeline first. That's like chronologically the first one, and he becomes less stupoid. So maybe when he becomes less stupoid, it becomes more to the forefront. Or it's secretly the pathway to is the Ayako pathway. Ayako waifu time. Just is she one of the secretly 2 remaining masters? It's 2, right? I think so. Yeah, because Kirei, Shiro, Rin, Ilya, Shinji is 5, and we don't know assassins or casters. I think that is the correct words. Let's get today started. Clapping my hands in prayer to the shed, I head for the house. I emerge from the shed. Yawning. Yeah. The Emiya house is a Japanese-style house on the outskirts of town. My father wasn't much of a respected person in town, but he somehow still had a huge house. That on its own is a mystery. It also seems he didn't have any relatives. It's because he's a mafia magic man. That's why the house became mine and no one else's when my father died. Though to be honest, I don't know that kind of... Old man Fujimura is in charge of complicated things. And Fujimura is the big landlord in this neighborhood. Water went down the wrong throat. Oh, give it a second. I think we're good. Big landlord. It's still so perfect. I'm remembering how Ilya end up moving in sort of with Fujimura at the end of the pathway after seeing the Tiger Dojo the whole time. Man, when's the Yakuza gonna be involved? Yeah. But it was so fitting how it's like the Tiger Dojo the whole time, and then like at the end, it's like it makes perfect sense in context, but then it's also like, oh, back in time. It's crazy how that worked out. That was one of the best through lines. But I remember at the last Tiger Dojo for the Fate Pathway, it's like next time things are gonna be revamped. I'm excited for that. I hope that it's a real revamped Tiger Dojo and I'm not getting cheated. Old man Fujimura is the big landlord in this neighborhood. According to father, the old man's like a Yakuza boss. Of course, this is just prejudice. The Tiger Dojo was a peak to post-epilogue Taiga and Ilya. Yeah. And it's like beforehand you don't necessarily think anything of it. And then what happens is like, oh, it's perfect. I love stuff like that. He's not like Yakuza. He is a Yakuza boss. Tasty night debating you. When would ever that happen? No, please. Ellipses. Well, it's a problem in itself, but I prefer to ignore it. Anyway, that's why I'm the only one living in this big house. Wait, what's... Oh, you prefer to ignore it, yeah. You prefer to ignore all the hard truths. Bum, 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 bum. It's been 5 years since father died. No, wasn't it... I forget. Which one's the longer version that I'm like, no, that one's true. Is it 5 or 6 or... I don't even remember. Or, no, it's 3, right? It's 3 years, not 5? Anyways. Badum-ching, yeah. The days have passed quickly. I sigh thinking of how much I've grown in those 5 years. Trained every day to be like Kiritsugu, but it's not that easy in reality. It's natural because I had no talent to begin with, but what can be said about having no improvement at all? And oh, I never tweeted about my stream. Who gives a shit? I don't care. Did you hear how I squirted that out? Who gives a shit? I had no talent to begin with, but what can be said about having no improvement at all in 5 years? What to be said is that you're not really trying, because when you really try, you're able to do freaking sword birth. What you needed was your penis to get roll card, man. So note the present in one sentence, my goal is far away, that I'm not even at the starting line. It's easy to tell yourself that, so you don't have to confront your hard truths. When do I get to rush? For now I have to do what I can. Well then, right now I should... Right, go and finish my daily routine or go and help Sakura. If my memory serves, in my initial thingamajigger, I finished my daily routine? I don't know, but I'm going to help Sakura, because I like Sakura. Oh, I guess I've seen it. I probably went back and saw this when I was doing something. I don't know, skip this scene. No. Got his boner for his wife who he can fucking kill demigods. That's right, I have to go and help Sakura. I'd feel bad both for letting my junior do all the work and for Sakura coming here so early in the morning. Oh, I can't really use my Fate save points necessarily, so I should make a, I'm too late. I wasn't saving the choices just because I feel like they're kind of redundant at this point, but, a lot of recap episodes, it all blurs together. Still, I do think it's important to make new saves. Let's go from the back. Let's go from the top. Rewind time. I haven't had that many recap episodes. Like, this is arguably my second one. Maybe my third. Maybe they are blended together. The classic shonen experience. Not Dragon Ball Z, though. Dragon Ball Z, it took forever things to happen. But Dragon Ball Z, the original, never recapped anything. I'm too late. It seems breakfast has already been made. I can smell the elegant scent of breakfast befitting Sakura. Ooh. Sakura's finished cooking and is opening the cupboards. I can see that all she has left to do is set the table. Ooh! That's some fast cooking, Sakura. Almost like you started cooking in advance. And you came to waking up as a formality after you already started cooking, I bet. Ooh! Or you're just fast cooking something simple. But I would think you'd want to cook something complicated for Shiro. You'd let him sleep in and wake him up only when your cooking is almost done. Oh, but then what would happen if he would actually end up doing the cooking and you would be like, oh no, you already started. But it wouldn't get to that point because you know about the overalls and then you'd have to change. Aha, she's thinking 3 steps ahead.
めんぼくない。せめて食器の用意ぐらいはやるから、さくらは座っててくれ。
Or Shiro was really just contemplating to himself for a long ass time because, like, the idea that she's already done cooking means that, you know, that was either quick or she was prepping in advance. But I'll at least get the dishes ready. So you go and sit down.
もう来ちゃったんですか、先輩。
You're already, senpai. See, that suggests it's a quick turnaround and not a long one. Which suggests she did prep this in advance because otherwise, if you're gonna, like, cook breakfast and not just, you know, make cereal or whatever, then it should take a decent amount of time, and it should be looked at that I'm already here. It should have been like, oh, it took you so long, not you're here already, which makes me think you prepped in advance.
もうじゃないぞ。6時10分って言ったら朝飯を食ってる時間じゃないか。
Already.
完全に寝坊だよ。
We're usually eating by 10 past 6, so I certainly slept in. Sakura in an apron. I agree. Yeah, she looks good with it. I was actually about to say that before you even typed that. Yeah, usually eating by 10 past 6. That's interesting. So maybe she did purposely wait late and wake him up late when she'd already been decent ways in the cooking. Maybe when there was like a lull in the cooking time for her to wait, maybe.
そんなことはないと思いますよ。先輩は部活をしていないんですから、この時間は十分に早起きです。
I don't think so. You're not in any clubs. This is still early for you.
部活は関係ない。それを言ったら朝練があるさくらがうちに来てくれるのも問題じゃないか。
Clubs have nothing to do with this. When you bring clubs into it, the problem is that you come here when you have morning practice to go to. Oh shoot, she got called out.
いえ、私は好きでしていることですから、部活のことは気にしないでください。
No, I'm doing this because I want to. Please don't worry about my club. Yes, habits from archery club. Because Shiro was going to that for a while, which we're going to apparently learn more about. Finally in this pathway. I wanted to know more about it forever. Finally. We're learning about it a bit more now that we're on pathway 2. Wake up at 6. Even if the normal wake up time is maybe 7 or 8 or whatever, I'm like, you know, fancy pants waking up at like midnight and 1. I'm doing this because I want to. Please don't worry about my club. Oh, your feelings. I'm surprised you wouldn't want to bring up the club to be like, are you sure you don't want to join? But I guess it's a tough spot. And you have to approach it elegantly. That's fair.
ああ、それは何度も聞いた。だから俺も部活に関係なく早起きしてるんだ。さくらが来てくれるなら、その時間には起きてないと失礼だろ?
Yeah, you always say that. That's why I wake up early. Clubs or not, it's rude for me to sleep in if you're going to be here. For me, waking up early is waking up before Sakura gets here. And sleeping in is making Sakura prepare breakfast on her own, like today. Uh-oh. Remember the theory where Fate wrote is where Shiro copies Saber and starts wielding swords. UBW, he's starting doing archery and maybe starts copying Archer. Had a whole scene of archery talk. Right. Yeah, because they never got into his whole archery thing. So, like, yeah, in the Saber route, is this a me theory or just a general theory? I could believe either. That sounds about right. Yeah, he fights with swords in that route, and then fights with the archery. Oh, does that mean he can get a crazy archery weapon in the UBW route? Even though it's called a limited blade works. I don't know, maybe he can learn to fire the swords. It's a you theory. Cool. Maybe he can learn to fire the swords from his bow and arrow like Archer does, because remember, Archer is just Shiro from the future, right? I mean, that's like the most easy theory. Not gonna forget that one. Anyways, like today. Though this has only been a habit for a year and a half or so.
ともかくさくらは休んでろよ。あとは並べるだけなんだから、それぐらい俺にやらせてくれ。
Anyway, you take a rest. We only have to set the table, so at least let me do that. I stand next to Sakura and take out the dishes. Sakura is stubborn at times, not in situations like this. She won't rest unless she's forced to. That sounds something similar to you, Shiro. You also do not do the resting unless you are doing the forced to. You mix together in a similar way with Shiro Saber, not quite to the same extent, but the same extent of the stubbornness of wanting to do things for each other. This is sort of like the alpha version before Saber shows up, and then even more to an extent of, no, I can only do X for you. No, I can only do X for you. But then, you know, so I mean, sort of like an alpha build of how Shiro is in general with relationships with girls that he kind of fancies. If Archer is Shiro, why did his eye, hair, and skin color change? Anime puberty. Sakura being stubborn is also shown with Rin. And she gives up. She does give up. Suspicious! Secretly hiding an evil agenda.
なら私もお手伝いします。お皿には私が盛りますから、先輩はお茶碗を出してください。
Oh, then I'll help too. I'll load the plates and you can take them out.
いや、だから全部こっちでやるからいいってば。
Saying I'll do it all myself. I'll do it all myself. I started speaking as Gilgamesh for a second there. I don't know. I just, the voice popped in my head. Bow down to me, Sakura. No. He was so rude with the way he treated Saber. At least Shiro doesn't act like that with his females. Even if, you know, he thinks he has to be the knight in shining armor, he doesn't think that, they have to be the, whatever you call them. That's more demoralizing. Still don't know what happened in the talk, specifically between Rin and Sakura. That's some sus stuff. I'm saying I'll do it all myself.
いけません。先輩はお家の主人なんですから、朝くらいはドーンと構えていてください。
It's like she wants herself to be the servant role. You're head of the household, so you should just sit contently in the mornings.
どーんと構えろって。さくら一人に働かせてのんびりしている主人なんて家主失格だぞ。
The household leaves you to do the work by
いいか
yourself as a failure.
さくらは今に言ってろって。
As the king can't expect his subordinates to follow if he does not lead, to kind of quote Lelouch. It's okay, just go to the living room.
はい。ぜひ失格してください。これ、いつも美味しいご飯を食べさせてもらっているお返しなんです。
Yep, kindness
だからでき
competition.
れば、先輩にはゆっくりしていてほしいです。
Sakura's more pleasant about it though, whereas Shiro's a lot more blunt. Like, just let me be kind, bitch. What the fuck? Whereas Sakura's, you know, keeps up the politeness the whole. And again, Shiro normally is a blunt person, so his kindness always comes across kind of weird. Please be a failure. This is a repayment for letting me eat good food all the time. It's possible I'd like for you to rest. Please be a failure. For me?
食費だったら折半なんだからさくらが気にすることじゃない。感謝なんて言ったら俺がしたいぐらいだ。さくらが来てくれるようになってから
50 on groceries.
飯が豪勢になったからな。
Shouldn't worry about it. I should be the one thanking you since you've started coming here. Our meals have improved. Does Shinji just not pay attention to 50-50 on groceries? Does Shinji just not pay attention to 50-50 as in money, right? To Sakura's money? Or is this like an allowance she's getting from Shiro? So it's all just going back into Shiro anyway. Or is she actually getting an allowance from like Shinji or something? Wouldn't Shinji wonder where that's going? I guess she has some lie prepared for that, but I don't know, something I'm thinking of now. With how controlling Shinji is, I think he'd wonder, like, where's that money going? You know, given that it's going 50-50 groceries for Shiro, so that Shinji supposedly doesn't know about, or doesn't want at least. Do we even know what's the family situation in the Matos? I mean, we don't necessarily, but, like, isn't Shinji sort of, like, the headish of the household? Are they orphans, or am I crazy? Just the way Shinji acts, it's like if he actually has parents, like he was forced into his thing somehow, but we don't even know the full story. If he actually has parents that are around though, it's just kind of weird that maybe they're like away on a trip. I don't know. It seems like they're either orphaned or their parents are elsewhere, or I don't know. This is an anime, therefore all the main characters, their parents, you know, if they're a main character, the parent must be dead or somewhere else. We can't have parents getting in the way of our plot. You started to come here, our meals have improved.
やっぱり先輩分かってなかったんですね。 先輩のお
It's
家
not
の
why
ご
the
飯
meals
が
are good.
そういうことじゃない。
It's not why.
いえ、なんでもありません。けど責任取ってくださいね。私、先輩の家じゃないとご飯を美味しくいただけなくなっちゃったんですから。
No, it's nothing, but please take responsibility because I can't eat a pleasant meal anyway anymore. Right. She doesn't understand that. What do you mean? What do you mean? What she means is that, it's like it's tastier when there's the romance in the air.
バカ、おかしなこと言うな。
Idiot, don't say such weird things.
藤姉に聞かれたらどうするんだ。あの人には冗談なんて通じないんだから。
The way the voice actor said Baka just there, like, idiot, don't say such weird things, definitely shows some romantic subtext a little bit, which is clearly here from the start before Shiro. Shiro was clearly, a little romantic with all the girls for a bit until he saber-sexualized, so it'll be interesting maybe seeing if he has that again before he sexualizes on a different girl. Hint, hint, I'm in fucking love with you. An actual connection with another person? Nah, not till I can ride that dragon penis. Doesn't understand jokes.
そうですね。藤村先生に聞かれたら大変です。
Yeah, but not because it's a joke.
まったくだ。あんまりおかしなこと言うな。
Don't say so much weird stuff.
はい、言いません。言いませんからお手伝いしていいですよね、先
Don't say
輩。
anything so I can help you, right, senpai? Yeah. Ellipses. Sakura looks up to me naturally and
い
calmly.
いよ、好きにしろ。そんなにやりたきゃさくらに任せる。
Fine, do what you want. If you want to help so much, go right ahead.
はい、好きにします、私。
Do as I please. Nice, she did it. She won the battle.
まったく。本当に最近言うこと聞かなくなったよな、さくら。
Really don't listen to anything I tell you anymore, Sakura. Yeah, from what we know, Shiro seems to be somewhat aware. Oh yeah, because Shiro was all like, oh, I'm good friends with Shinji. What? So I can't make any kind of moves on Sakura. I think I remember him thinking something like that, which is just like, what? You're good friends? Even though you punched him out because you knew about his somewhat knew about his bad acts in the past, and you got like anger issues when you punched him out, and you want to think of him as a friend just to not think of. It's weird.
ですね。藤村先生に似てきたのかもしれません。
Tell me more like Fujimura. Oh no! I don't want to have sex with my teacher. Chokes the shit out of Shinji later. Best of friends. Who needs enemies when you got friends like this? Speaking softly, Sakura reaches up for the cupboard. Her silky hair and smooth skin catch my... Yeah, there's definitely the horny. So while we're on this little horny screen, actually, I have to refill my water, so... Pre-saber sexual. Right then. It's so good to be back in overanalyzing every single line of this VN mode. Is that... How much of that is sarcasm? I'm sure there's truth in there, but at the same time, every single line, again and again, even when recapping, again. I think I probably am actually gonna stop a little short today, though. We're still gonna go for a bit more, but probably only like 100% unironic. Nice. Probably only like 30 more minutes or so. Normally I would want to go longer, but I have important things to do on Mondays and Fridays, and I find myself feeling a little tired. I might want to take a slight nap before I have to do my thing that I have to do. Anyways, which is why I'm probably going to end up stopping a little earlier than I would want today. So let's just keep going. Her silky hair and smooth skin catch my eye. How can I put this? It's troubling on my penis. She must be maturing as she seems really feminine these days. Something funny I've noticed is that whenever I it's interesting. I find it interesting, actually. I almost enjoy it whenever I do these dragging out the recap episodes there, Rennie. whenever I do these visual novel-esque playthroughs that have multiple routes where I end up re-going through similar territory again, just because I like not skipping stuff. I like getting it all in my mind. And what that ends up doing is like I'll redo things that I sort of did earlier, but it's been so long that I won't necessarily remember how I covered them, and so I just sort of cover them how it feels natural in the moment. And it's fun to catch myself being like, I made that exact same joke the first time. Or, oh no, I acted differently this time. So it's just interesting. But it's troubling. She must be maturing, as she seems really feminine these days. Her casual movements and her figure are so beautiful that I instinctively look away. Oh, red face. That's right, and this is when he's like, no, I can't act on her because I'm such good friends with her brother.
先輩どうかしましたか？
Is something wrong? Oh. I think these recap episodes are fine if you have no observation and opinion with future context. Oh, no. New! If you have no future context. Just keep doing it over and over. It'll be like the episodes of Haruhi. I'll just review the first day of Shira's thing. The thing that doesn't change. And I'll keep doing it over and over for at least 13 times to be like the 13 things of... See, that's a reference to a show I've not watched. I've not watched Haruhi, but I know some of the memes. Is something wrong?
いや、どうもしてない。どうもしてないから気にしないでくれ。
Domo shitanai. No, it's nothing. Don't worry, it's nothing. On the next episode of Renegade Does Japanese, Domo shitanai? Domo is... It's alright. Domo shitanai is it's not alright? No, that can't be it. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the context. Domo. Domo shitanai. That's just weird wording. Maybe if I listen to it again, I could try to understand what's vaguely being said, but... Don't worry, it's nothing. It could also just be a different domo, because there's a lot of repeat... There's more repeat words in Japanese than English, because of a more limited... ways to sound out words, and also because the alphabet is more sound-based. If they, let's say, put 3 characters together, it's always going to be 3 syllables, versus the English language, you could put like 10 characters together that are like 3 syllables, and you can reorganize them. Because they don't want their words to be stupid long, they'll have like shorter words that mean, they'll have repeat words with different meanings that they use kanji to differentiate, but that means they sound the same, and there's more similarities because they're trying to keep the words not too stupid long, but all of their characters are syllables, and that's why it ends up working out that way. Anyways, it's nothing, don't worry, it's nothing. Question mark. Honestly. For example, since I've been into the Digimon TCG, the new one, there's one example of, from, you know, cards that'll be like, when you trash from your Digivolution source or whatever for like a Digiburst, when you're trashing a card, there's like a word for exterminate, and that's like a word, but then there's another word that I'm forgetting, so this is a bad example because I don't remember the whole context, but it uses the same sounding, but it's different kanji. This is a bad example because I don't remember the whole example, so I can't actually give you the real example. But that's an example, even if it's a bad one. Honestly. Why am I feeling tense around my friend's sister? Yeah, my great friend's sister. Sakura's a good underclassman, and a junior I need to take care of. She's the sister of a close friend of mine. Well, close as in I have gotten really close to him when I was kicking the shit out of him earlier, and in the future. Not close as in good friend, just close friend. I've been close to him. I was in close contact when I punched him in the face. Since she's a grade below me, we weren't that close. Because I'm more of a knight in shining armor role, I don't necessarily like combating girls as often, so I haven't been that physically close to her yet. And we haven't done the sexy time either. It all changed when the Fire Nation attacked into this cooperative kind of relationship. Speaking of which, there's like an Avatar Studio thing now? I've not looked into it at all. Doing it live. What is this? There's an Avatar Studio thing. This is very spur of the moment. Avatar Studio question mark? What is this? Nickelodeon creates Avatar Studio to create more Avatar original content spanning anime series and movies. Avatar and Korra. Oh, so do we get Earthbender show now? I wouldn't mind an Earthbender show. Problem is that Korra was fine, and the original Avatar was a lot better than fine. So, you know, it's hard to say how the new one would be, theoretically. I would not mind an Earthbender focus show. I like the Earthbending. Korra is... I think Season 3, to me, is the strong point. Season 3 feels the most anime. I don't know. Is that one way to put it? I didn't even bother finishing Season 4. I think Season 4 is rather weak. I think Season 2 is also rather weak. I'd probably, after I had to rate the season, I'd probably go Season 3, then Season 1, then Season 2, then 4. It might be 4, then 2. It's hard to put 4, but because like I'm surprised at myself that I didn't give up on Season 2. It was a struggle to push through that, in my opinion. But I think Season 3 was fairly strong. Anyways, we weren't that close. I'm just basically the only light in her life. Well, yeah, I mean, she would not think of you guys as not close, definitely. But you know, you can't risk thinking of you guys as close because that would be commitment to something that would let you have fun, and you're not allowed to have fun. You have to be a person that hates yourself. And if you like somebody and they like you back, you can't let yourself like them, because if they like you back, you'd be like, no, I'm keeping you down. I'm a bad person who shouldn't be liked. Therefore, you should be liking someone else so you have a happy life, whereas if you like me, that won't be fair to you, because I'm not a likable person. Sakura comes to cook when I was injured, and after that, I think we just ended up like this. I think we intended to do it until my injury healed, but some trivial thing came up to make her stay with it. The trivial thing called, she wants your body. Anyway, Sakura's a good cook and perfect at cleaning and doing the laundry. A great housewife. It's a big help to have her helping around here in the mornings. It's been a bit troubling. The problem is not in Sakura, but me. I am the problem. He realizes. Oh, that's a great pick. Dash. This is definitely the best choice. The fact that I didn't choose it the first time around is dumb on me. I think I know why I didn't choose it. I think I was trying to be practical to the war or something. I don't know. Or I was curious about what exactly his training was. But this is definitely the better option, the waifu option. Maybe I was just feeling guilty about being attracted to my friend's sister. I feel like I heard this line on the original playthrough, but I don't know that I saw this picture on the original playthrough. It feels new-ish. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe it's been a while. It's a good picture, so I feel like it would stick out in my memory, but I don't know. Guilty about being attracted to my friends. See, that's the line that I remember the line, but I don't remember the really nice picture, so it's like... I guess because of my over-analysis, I would remember lines more? Maybe. It's a nice graphic. I like it a lot. Usually I'm fine, but when I'm caught off guard like just now, I blush. Does this make me an unsuitable senpai? Senpai, please be gentle. Right. New scene. So no, I think we still got the Shiro, I am the close friends, but I think that picture is unique to the picking Sakura because of the scene change. Or I'm just wrong. That's also possible. Perfect breakfast. Right, what is Sakura's specialty? Chicken salad. Chicken salad, cooked salmon, spinach. Okay, so she's more of a... Oh, miso soup. Is she like a mix? Because I know, like, Rin's more Western, but then Sakura also seems kind of Western, but maybe she's like a mix, whereas Shiro's better Japanese? Does that sound correct?
Itadakimasu.
Sure. Sakura and I bow and stir our meal quickly. The sounds of our chopsticks echo. Sakura isn't the talkative type, and I'm not versatile enough to talk while eating. I don't talk while eating either. I just think it gets in the fucking way. What I remember, Rin's the master of Chinese. Oh, okay, maybe it's Sakura that's Western, Shiro that's Japanese, then Rin's Chinese? Huh, I just thought Rin was Western because she lives in the more Western house. Maybe, but, yeah, I think if you're talking when you eat, you're getting in the way of enjoying the meal. Freaking, you know, I think the most polite thing to do is just to eat. Because after all, if you talk and interrupt the food while eating, it's even disrespectful to the cook. Because it's like you're not focusing your attention on the thing they spent time preparing for you. And instead, you're like, you know, doing it halfway. Maybe it gets cold while you talk. You're getting food particles while you're talking. And not fully doing it as the food was intended. I mean, maybe the food partially. Some foods are intended to be consumed as you go. But I feel like the polite thing is just to not talk while you eat. Because don't interrupt my thought process. I tend to think a lot when I eat. So don't talk to me when I eat. Hashtag real thoughts. I used my past vision called YouTube, and you chose Sakura in your first playthrough. Oh. What? What? Really? I thought I didn't. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Okay. I did choose that. Oh. That makes sense. I'm not surprised. I just feel like I thought I did the other one. I want to check something then. Did I other choice? I feel like I would have other choiced. But I don't remember if I other choiced. Wait, is this post-choice? Oh, no! No, it's fine. What's the skip text button again? Hold on. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Screw it. When I'm thinking about something like this, I gotta. So I just made a save point, so I don't have to worry about that. We're gonna go to top real quick. We're gonna start. We're not gonna skip. What is the text skip thing? There's like a quick text skip button. Hold on. Skip. X, Z, Y, P, Q. Did you ever choose the other choice? Maybe I didn't. I'm doing it now. I thought I chose the other. Control. Control. Oh, yeah, that does skip. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh. Oh. Ah. Oh. Oh. Ah. Sometimes why? I emerged from the shed. De ba boo boo ba you ba ba ba. And that's when I made the choice. Make the choice. Let me make the choice. Let me pick the other one. I thought I picked the other one. I mean, it makes sense to pick the Sakura one. I would pick the Sakura one. Why did I think I picked the other one? I don't know. Let me check. They're not skipping. There's no skip. There's no skip. I never did it. I never did this one. Ah! I just redid the thing. I did it already. I thought I did redo it, but I thought I would have redone that. I just didn't do it. I never did it. I just never did it. I chose the same thing twice. The Emiya house has a big dojo. It was built when the house was built. It was only intended as a hobby. Okay. Only intended as a hobby. Built when the house was built. Okay, I should take this in for real now, because this is new information. A big dojo. Built when the house was built. It was only intended as a hobby. Wait, what? I thought he was talking about going to his shed and doing his magic stuff. Hold on. What's the choice? 5 years. No, do too much. Right now I should do my training. The dojo isn't the only thing that's big. Ah ha ha ha. Ah, ha ha. Breast joke. Oh, I thought training, he was gonna go, like, do his magic training? I think that's where my mind was the whole time. But he's doing, like, physical training. Right. Or at least that's where my mind was the whole time, at least today. I don't know if that's where my mind was all the way back when I first chose the choice. But it was only intended as a hobby. Well. Or a bit before breakfast. Not really studying martial arts, but since father told me, if you want to be like me, you'll have to train your body first. It became my daily routine to work out. What do you mean breast? I was referring to the rest of the house. Oh, I see, you meant the penis. I understand. Not really studying martial arts, since father told me. Okay. Nice. You got to Hyaku strokes. I finished my routine sit-ups. Oh, I assumed it would be like, because you're like a sword trainer, that it'd be like, no, you haven't done swords at all. Saber gets you into it? I don't know. I thought it'd be like wooden sword thrusts. Do 100 wooden sword thrusts. I finished my routine sit-ups and changed out of my gi into my uniform. I slept this morning, so I cut short of my workout. Oh, so 100 is cutting short? Some sit-ups with no stretching should be enough. I'm not the kind to build up a lot of muscle. And it's not like I want to get into a fight. Wow. You better be starting to believe in fight stories, Shiro Emiya, because you're in one? It doesn't work very well. Why would he do sword? He was in the archery club. Well, I don't know. My mind is just like, he was spending so much of his time practicing the sword, and I'm like, oh, he goes to the dojo. I thought he was doing magic practice, but he's not, so he must be doing sword practice because of my future past incorrect knowledge, because he doesn't have that yet. But he still has caliber and sword birth magic power, so he's fascinated by the sword, clearly. But does he still have that in this pathway? I guess we'll find out. I feel like that's such a big thing he has to, or at least some offshoot of it, so that we can have a revelation of what that is, because it feels like a special thing they never revealed. But anyways. All I need is enough athletic ability to handle sudden accidents, and to move as I wish when I have to. Sudden accidents, yes. After all, the thing I want to become is the complete opposite of an athlete. What? What's the complete opposite of an athlete? Oh, hold on. Let's look up antonyms for athlete. Athlete. Antonym. Idler, layabout, shiftlessness, loafer, lazy bones, torpidity, passivity, lassitude, slackiness. Yep. Are you sure, Shiro? With how much magical exercise you do, you sure you want to be a lazy bones? You want to help people? You're going to be a lazy bones helping? How do you plan to help them when you're going to be the opposite of an athlete? From the Dovetail timeline, we saw that he did still have the Caliburn vision, but that was still technically in the Fate. Yeah, so maybe we'll see. The complete opposite of an athlete. This late already. Put the sweaty gi into my laundry basket. Okay. It's 6:20. In our house, in the middle of our street. Even this is a late time for breakfast. That one's so much shorter in comparison to the soccer one. Or maybe I just spent more time on the soccer one because I'm horny. Breakfast is already prepared. There wasn't a scene transition. I can smell the elegant scent of breakfast befitting Sakura.
お疲れ様でした。こっちも朝食の支度終わりましたよ。
I guess there has to be yeah, it was shorter. There has to be a slight extension, I suppose, because we're just she has to preface what's going on where she didn't in the other version. Breakfast is ready, senpai. I assume there'll be a transition when it ends, because it'll be like, you're at content you've seen before.
Thank you. すまん。俺が寝過ごした分、桜に無理させちまって。
Thanks. Sorry, I had to do more work because I slept in. So even in this pathway, you still get to see her with her cute apron. Oh, it has flowers on the pink. I thought it was just the pink. I just noticed that there's the flowers on the pink, which is fitting, because that's the whole thing about the sakura, is it's a name of like a plant flower thing, right? Sakura blossoms.
そんな全然無理なんかじゃないですよ。それに寝坊なんかじゃありません。
Okay.
先輩は部活をしていないんですから、この時間は十分に早起きです。
So this is similar to what she said anyways in the other pathway, just a little expedited, and she has a different expression when she's saying it. It's no work at all, besides you didn't sleep in. This is early for you since you're not in any clubs.
部活は関係ないよ。それを言ったら、朝練がある桜がうちに来てくれるのってすごい早起きじゃないか。
Clubs have nothing to do with it. When you bring clubs into it, you have to wake up early to come here when you have morning. Yeah, the same stuff, same stuff.
いえ、私は好きでしていることですから。
Just because I want to, please don't worry about my clubs.
まあ、だから俺も部活に関係なく早起きしたい
It's
んだ。
rude For me, waking up early and sleeping in is making Sakura look like today.
先輩、そういうところこだわりますよね。三辻先輩、
That's different.
エミヤは粗雑なくせに律儀すぎてうるさいって。
I think in the other one she referenced... I think it's different because I think in the other one she references Fujimura here? I think. Senpai, you always put too much weight on these things. Mitsuzuri senpai. Ayako, always says you're so honest it's annoying. Is she the real new best waifu? It's hard, like, I don't tend to rate Saber much as a waifu. I liked the path, and I thought she was fine as a waifu, but it's hard, even though I've seen it to its completion. It's like, I don't necessarily like her more as a waifu, as a character maybe, but as a waifu, than, like, Rin, or not Rin, Rin I think still, yes, but not as much as, let's say, someone like Sakura, or Ilya, so it's just, something to think of. I think we talked about Ayako a bit, and how she, out of all the mundane people pre-war, knew Shio the most. I like her as a waifu, but it's more that I guess, to be fair, I don't know if I even say that as a character she's better. I like specifically the chemistry. I don't know if I like her as a me waifu, a renegade waifu, but I like the chemistry that built up between Shiro and Saber. I guess I should say that for a Shiro waifu, I like her a lot. Now, I can't compare that yet, since I haven't seen anyone else properly waifu him yet. But I do actually really like the chemistry and how that relationship develops. So I suppose I like her relationship than I like her as a waifu. Which is not a bad waifu. There's plenty of good waifus. She's a competition. Anyways. Always says you're so honest, it's annoying. Mitsuzuri is the captain of the archery club Sakura's in. And someone I have a lot of acquaintance with. Yeah, this is different.
あいつ、まだ俺の文句を桜にこぼしてんのか?
She's still complaining to you about me.
はい。先輩が卒業するまでに何としても社でうならせてやるって毎日頑張ってます。
Yep, she's working hard every day to beat you in archery before she graduates. Ah, that touches on that aspect. A little early in this version that he was in the archery club and quit. Because in the other one, it was like ambiguous for a long time. This is the secret Ayako route option you missed both times. We'll see if it dovetails into another opening theme.
今じゃあいつのが段位高いだろうに。あれかな、思い出は無敵ってやつかな。美化されてるのは悪い気分じゃないけど、それも人によりけりっていうか。
Jeez, she must be better than me by now. Is she just glorifying the memories? I don't mind people thinking highly of me. Are you sure? But I guess it depends on who they are. I mean, I like the pretty princesses to think highly of me like you, Sakura, but not someone like Ayako, because she's more of my equal, so it's rude when she thinks more of me, because I'm like, no, I don't deserve to be thought of more of. Only the princess, you know, the generic housewife princess like Sakura can think highly of me. Or my little sister figure like Ilya, who wouldn't necessarily think highly, well, I mean, she does, but like, does kind of fit this timeline more than Fate with the archery talk. Yeah. Just, I guess it depends on who they are.
三辻先輩、すっごく負けず嫌いですから、きっと心の中で先輩をライバルみたいに思ってますよ。
Mitsuzuri senpai hates losing, so she probably thinks of you as a rival. Indeed, a rival, but also, you know, what's the term for, you know, rivals that, you know, they do it at the halfway point of the movie? What? Sakura puts rice into a bowl as she talks. And how does that make you feel, Sakura? The rivalry, the us tension, because you are the one who wants to us the most with Shiro, not, you know, so maybe that means partially you're glad he's not in the club, although if he was in the club, he'd be with you more, so it's sort of like a double-edged, whereas Ayako isn't here being with him during your time, whereas in the club he would be, so that's why maybe you're not quite as upfront, brutal about it. Sakura puts rice into a bowl, she talks. It's almost 6:30. The archery club's morning practice starts at 7. It's not mandatory, but you can't afford to take it easy. Well, you never go to the archery club, so you must not be close to her. It's not mandatory, but you can't afford to take it easy.
藤根はそろそろか。ま、この時間に来ない方が悪いんだし。さくら、先に食べていいよ。
Fujine will be here soon, I guess. Well, it's her fault for not getting here on time. Well, Sakura, let's go ahead and start eating.
そうですね。はい、どうぞ先輩。
Yes, here you go, senpai. I was actually planning to load up the other timeline because I like the timeline where we choose the Sakura choice because I like Sakura, but this one seems to be sort of an Ayako choice, and I want to get the secret Ayako route if that's at all possible. So I think I'm going to commit to this one. I was going to load up the other one because I just, I went with my guns, but now that I've seen this choice, and I don't care at all about the training he did with his 100 sit-ups, but, they're alluding to Ayako and stuff, and I like Ayako, so I'm going to stick with this one. Let's go ahead and start eating. Here you go, senpai. Sakura hands me the bowl with a smile. Dash, dash. Then, I'm used to this every morning, but her white fingers catch my eye. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, what happened? Because they're so hot? Is this when you fantasize about her because you didn't do it in the other timeline? Dash, dash. Oh, you have to... There's obligatory fantasizing about her for a little bit. Has to happen in any other timeline? How can I put this? It's troubling. She must be betraying us. She seems really feminine. Yeah, they have to include him having the hotspur to some degree. Oh, nice. Seems really feminine these days. As I take the rice and touch her slender hands, and they become connected for a second. Her casual movements are beautiful. She often takes my breath away. Oh, that seems even bigger than what happened in the other one. Takes your breath away. Perhaps it's a reaction to not feeling anything for her until now. But I'm noticing more and more feminine characteristics in her. Not feeling anything? Are you sure? Or are you just lying to yourself that you weren't? But Or maybe something awoke inside you when the Grail War came close to starting because it's a premonition of the future, how you're going to start usting for a girl. So your girl usts are coming out. I don't know. Interesting. She often takes my breath away. Maybe there's the idea that when you went to help her with breakfast, your mind was more easily able to focus on the not romanticized because it was, because your mind wasn't on something else. So you were able to put more of your energy towards not thinking the dirty thoughts. You thought them anyway, but not to this extent, or at least you're not as surprised. Whereas in this one, you spent some time training, so your mind came off it, and so it's juxtaposed back onto it. Which is why it goes even further and she often takes my breath away. Perhaps it's a reaction not feeling anything for her until now. Noticing more and more feminine characteristics in her.
Senpai, どうかしましたか?
Senpai, is something wrong?
いや、どうもしてない。どうもしてないから気にしないでくれ。
It's nothing. It's nothing, don't worry, it's nothing. Okay, the domo shitanai, that's... I remember that because it was weird word choice. So that was in the other one. Ellipses, question mark. Honestly, why am I feeling tense around my friends? Okay, She's good at her classmates and a junior to take care of. She's a sister of a close friend of mine, Since she's a grade below me, we weren't that close. It all changed a year and a half ago. In this cooperating kind of relationship, Sakura came to cook when I was injured. I think we intended the injury healed, but some trivial thing came up to make her stay. Anyway, Sakura's a good cook, perfect at cleaning, doing laundry, help around here, but it's been troubling recently. The problem is not Sakura, but me. Dash, dash. Maybe I'm just feeling guilty about being attracted to my friend's sister. Usually I'm fine, but when I'm caught off guard like just now, I blush. Just make me an unsuitable senpai. Oh no! Okay, now the thing. Okay, don't. I'm gonna keep this one. I don't know if it matters, but I'm gonna keep it. Because it still has just as much Sakura usting, but it also has a bit of Ayako in there as well. Secret, hidden Ayako. So, hidden Ayako route. Okay, and this is kind of early. I have more time to stream tomorrow, anyways. But I would normally want to go on longer. I've got the recording actually. It's hour 40. It's not terrible. I would still normally want to go longer, but I do actually What is it? If we hit enough Ayako options in every route, we'll get the true gold Ayako ending, of course. Actually do think I'm going to stop for now, though. I will see you guys next time. Still no outro phrase. So it's over. Next time we'll do more, and we're going to probably go a little more faster through it, because the beginning of this I was more just reminiscing on theories and stuff and remembering. But, I'll try to hit alt choices as I go along this early version. That time I didn't even realize that I did the other choice. I'm just so dumb. My mind is so drawn to Sakura that I didn't even think. Not even past day 1. It's okay. We'll go faster tomorrow. I'm not surprised. Besides, I had to redo a thing twice. It'll be a recap week. A recap week is not that bad, to be honest. It's just 1 week of recap. Although I don't even think it's going to take that long. I mean, maybe it will, because it's not even fully recap, right? Because we're going to have to fill in the middle, right? Because the thing where we went to the dojo after we said, no, let's not team up with Rin, there's a bunch before that, and after what we saw, the Berserker fight, so it's not even fully, like, anyways, it's a wiggly-woggly thing. So, still no outro phrase. Bye-bye.